Welcome back to Upfront. 10 more people will go before the state's Pardon Advisory Board tomorrow, asking Governor Tony Evers to pardon them. The governor issued his first set of pardons last week. They're the first in nearly a decade because former Governor Walker didn't issue any during his 2 terms. Now, some say the floodgates are open. Our Matt Smith has the story.
All kinds of important stuff that they would like to know.
Eric Pizer is wasting no time.
This obviously is going to be most important here for me the next few weeks.
Filling out applications to local police departments, not even a week after receiving a pardon from Governor Tony Evers.
I'm like, wow, I can't believe this happened. This is finally happening. It's just been so long. It's a little bit surreal. Like, wow, it's finally coming to an end.
By this point, more than a decade has passed since Pizer threw a punch 2 days after returning from Iraq, a fight after a night of drinking that ended with a felony.
When I saw the paperwork, I would say that I was concerned about the way he had been treated by the justice system.
David Rellis is Pizer's attorney.
Can someone do this on their own, or do they need the help of someone like you, an attorney who knows the ins and outs of the law?
I think that some people certainly could fill out the forms and do it on their own. I think that it doesn't have to be an attorney, but I think the assistance of someone could be very helpful to people. And one of my concerns about the pardon process is that there certainly would be some people who would not be sophisticated enough to be able to do everything that's required by the pardon form.
Rellis believes the floodgates will now open hundreds of backlogged pardon requests after Governor Walker issued not a single one for nearly a decade. He's now asking the University of Wisconsin and Marquette Law Schools to set up clinics to help potential pardon candidates fill out the paperwork that's needed.
My own belief is that there are many, many very worthy applicants in Wisconsin. Not because there's anything wrong with the criminal justice system, but because pardons are saying, we're going to forgive you and we're going to give you a second chance because you've made good, because you've proven that you deserve a second chance.
Those like Eric Pizer, who as a felon couldn't possess a gun and can now try to fulfill a lifelong dream of becoming a police officer.
15 years later, but I got a lot of life experience, throughout this whole entire time, and a lot of ups and downs and going through a lot of stuff, and that honestly probably may help me become a better police officer because of everything I've been struggling through to try to get to this point today.
Matt, you talked to Eric in your story. There have to be a lot of people who want a second chance just like he did. What kind of backlog is the governor's office expecting?
So that's the question the board and the governor's office is going to face over the coming weeks and months. How many applications are they going to receive and have to deal with? The governor's office says they've received about 210 applications as of last week. They're going to hear 10 more cases tomorrow. They're taking kind of a wait-and-see approach in terms of how they do this. Right now, they're going to take the applications that are complete and then move on from there.
How complicated are the applications?
So we saw some of the paperwork in the piece, but it goes well beyond that. You need documentation, you need police reports, you need court transcripts, letters of recommendation to make your case. Some of these applications that the board is seeing exceed 60 to 70 pages.
So quite the process.
Yeah, complicated.
Okay. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Coming up, I'll talk to State Representative Jimmy Anderson about the latest emotional turn in his efforts to get legislative accommodations related to his disability.